Hey YouTube, it's Annabelle. So today I wanted to do a video on something that we recently experienced with our son, and that is infant constipation. Okay, so it is normal for breastfed babies to not poop every day and to go longer periods of time without pooping. And I already knew that with my daughter, but we never had a problem with her going for more than one day without having a bowel movement. Now with my son, and this was a few weeks ago, and I wanted to wait to do a video on this to kind of see how the end result was and kind of like how things are going since, so that way I could do a video and tell you guys how things are going now. Okay, so a few weeks ago, my son went from pooping multiple times a day to only having like one giant explosion every day. And he did that for quite a few days. And we document just kind of everything, how he's doing, how he's like eating and sleeping, and also like his diapers and things like that, so we can see if there are issues or problems. Well, so we looked back at our notes and we're just like, wow, he went from having like 4 or 5 poops a day to only having one giant poop. And so he did one giant poop for, again, a few days, and then he went to nothing. And on day 3, I kind of started getting a little bit concerned about it. So I called and talked to a nurse at our clinic and at our hospital. And what they said to try was just try inserting a thermometer in his butt and seeing if we could like stimulate it a little bit. And they told me just to put it in about an inch and just kind of like wiggle it around to see if that kind of like stimulation or whatever would work. So we just used this thermometer, and it is now labeled, I don't know if you can see this, it is labeled booty thermometer, because this will never go into anyone's mouth ever. But anyways, so we tried that a few times, and it didn't produce any bowel movement whatsoever. And so the next day, on day 4, I called again and said that it had been 4 days. And so they told me that to then try Caro syrup, and it has to be the dark syrup, so the dark corn syrup. And they said that to do 1 teaspoon in 2 to 3 ounces of milk, and that it should produce a bowel movement within an hour or 2. Well, so we tried the Caro syrup, and we waited a few hours and it didn't work. So they told me to wait just a few more hours and then try it again and see if another teaspoon of it would work. And it did not. So we tried this for 2 days. So on day 5, so we tried the Caro syrup on day 4 and day 5, and it did not work either. And on day 5 is when my son started getting very uncomfortable and crabby, and just he did not have the same mellow temperament that what he usually has. So I called again and was like, it's day 5. So the next thing that they suggested was Pedialax. And these are Glycerin Suppositories. Now, I have never given a suppository before, never had to with my daughter or anything. I did have a friend that used this, and it worked wonders for her. And she did have to use it for about twice a week for 4 weeks until her daughter's bowel movements became consistent again. So there are 12 suppositories in this, and the label says that it should work between 15 minutes to an hour or so is when it is supposed to work. Now, we gave this to my son, and we just did some lubricating jelly, and it can be KY or whatever. This is just an off-brand one. You just put it on the end, and I will show these to you guys because this is what ended up working for us. So here are the suppositories. You can get like adult size ones, like these are like the ones for like it's Pedialax. whatever, so they are for children. If they are too big, if you get like the adult size ones, you can cut the suppositories in half, so that way they are smaller. So anyways, you just put a little bit of the lubricating jelly again on the end of the suppository, and then so it fits in there, and then you just kind of, I used my pinky and just kind of just put it in there in his butt. And my husband was like just absolutely appalled that I was doing this. But he was my son was very uncomfortable, and it just had gotten to the point where it had just been too long. So we did use the suppositories, and again, they were supposed to work within an hour. They actually did not work until 2 hours. And my son exploded, and he was just cool and calm and just like his normal self for the rest of the evening. It was like magic. So obviously, since his temperament was way better afterwards, I am like just putting it that he was just so constipated and so uncomfortable and just needed to go. Now they say that through talking with nurses and the doctor and everything like that about like infant constipation and things like that, again, it is normal for breastfed babies to go a longer amount of time between poops than it is for like formula fed babies, and constipation is not like the frequency of bowel movements. It's more of like the consistency. They say if you know that your baby's constipated if it's like dry, hard stools, or if there's little pebbles. Now, my son did not have anything, nothing. So they said that what can happen in an infant system is that the bowel can actually get like compacted, and like poop and things like that can just kind of just stick in there, and it's just not going anywhere. So basically, we tried several different things. I was trying, like when we went that whole day without him pooping, I did try, since he is breastfed, I tried drinking as much water as I possibly could, and just trying to eat things that make me poop, so hopefully that it would make him poop, as like a cause and effect kind of thing. But with me changing my eating and like drinking way more water and things like that, and not having anything that really would produce gas or things like that in his system to make him any more uncomfortable, that did not help. And again, the like stimulating the rectum did not help. The Caro syrup did not help. And we have no other use for this, so I don't know what we're going to do with it. My husband is like, well, we can cook something with it. So we will see where that goes. But this was like a huge waste of money. And I have friends and family that the Caro syrup did work for, so do try it, just in case it might help. But again, my last resort, and the thing that finally ended up working, was the lubricating jelly and the Pedialyte. So there is what it looks like. But yes, anyway, so there's 12 in here, and we only had to do it that one time, and ever since then, he has had a bowel movement every single day. And again, it's been a couple weeks, and so we do have these on backup just in case. So since we were on day 5 when he finally produced a bowel movement, and has been okay like since then, I did make another call into my doctor just to kind of ask like for like future purposes, and he said that it's okay to use the Pedialyte suppositories if it's been like 3 days and he's uncomfortable. So if my son is not happy and he just seems very uncomfortable and just not happy at all, to go ahead and do it if it's on day 3 that he hasn't had a bowel movement. So I learned lots of different things and new things and very good information about infant constipation, and there's just so much stuff on the internet, and there's a lot of people that had on there that they gave their kids like milk of magnesia, or something like bulk fiber kind of thing, like Metamucil or something like that. And I didn't want to do that. So we did try just some other simple things, and the thing that scared me the most, which was these suppositories, actually ended up working. So if anyone has any questions or comments or additional information about infant constipation that they learned or they found out, please leave your questions or your comments below. But yes, otherwise, you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.